Hello everyone and welcome to my new YouTube channel. Today we are reviewing the Norwegian Air Shuttle 737-800 in economy. This is me, Magnus is my name, and I'm an aviation and a massive bonus geek. My hobby is to redeem points through Starlines and other bonus programs. Ironically, today we are not flying any Starlines companies, we are flying Norwegian Air Shuttle from Oslo to Copenhagen and then from Copenhagen to Amsterdam. Since Norwegian doesn't offer any lounge, we will also enter the Asper lounge in Copenhagen and have a quick review there. You can access this lounge with Priority Pass or MasterCard lounge key. My home base is Oslo Gardermoen, which is 20 minutes by train outside Oslo city. The airport itself is small but cozy, with a Scandinavian architecture which contains a lot of wood details. Usually when it's not pandemic, Norwegian and other low-cost airlines have the left side of the check-in area, while full-service carrier and charter have the right-hand side of the check-in area. As of this recording, the right-hand side have been changed to a COVID test station for arriving passengers, so we checked in on the left side. After the check-in area there are two different security areas, which lead to the same domestic side of the terminal. Both of these security areas offers fast track. On the domestic side of the terminal there are 37 gates, and there is a lot of stores such as electronic, books and food. The international side of the terminal have 35 gates, with a combination of Schengen and non-Schengen area. Inside the international side of the terminal there is a big duty-free area, which I had to run through because I was late for my morning flight. Usually we Norwegians buy a lot of cheap alcohol here because the prices in Norway are kind of high. The aircraft flying to Copenhagen today is Norwegian's only type in their fleet, the Boeing 737-800. Since this was a morning flight a weekday before Christmas, there were only 30 passengers on board today's 1 hour and 15 minutes flight. This meant that we pushed from the gate in plenty of time before departure, and we were headed for the runway. Okay guys, time for the seat tour. Norwegian uses Ricardo leather seats for their entire cabin, and there is no premium class or other seats in this cabin. Starting in the front, the tray table is stable and opens and locks with a twist. The magazines and the safety card has been moved to the top of the seat in front of you, making more room for the legs. The legroom is actually good for a low-cost airline. I am 180 centimeters tall or 5'11", and can easily get a fist between my knees and the seat in front of me. The armrest can be moved up and down, which means you have an average sleeping position if you need to nap. Disappointingly, there is no charge port or power outlet anywhere on Norwegian planes. The seat does also recline in a more comfier position, which most low-cost airlines have removed. There is no food or drinks included in any tickets, but you can purchase both warm and cold meals and drinks depending on your destination. I only had a coffee for this trip and it cost me 30 krona or 3 euros. Norwegian also offers some duty-free products on the flights. Some of the prices here can be really good, especially if they have a sale on some products. They did actually have a sale on the Aquavit, which is a special Norwegian liquor, but since I was already broke from all the Christmas present shopping, I didn't buy it. On board almost every Norwegian plane you have a Wi-Fi. Once connected to the Wi-Fi, you can access a portal where you can buy data packages and track your flights while in the air. The data you can see here is usually the things that you see on a live air map on a long-haul flight, so it's kind of useful if you want to track a flight while flying. Norwegian offers 3 types of data packages. One is free for limited surfing on the web. No social media is loaded with this package, so you can only browse the web and check your local newspaper, for example. The 2 other packages, you can surf the web faster, and if you go for the most expensive one, you can stream movies. The most expensive one will cost you €12 for the entire flight, while the social media one will cost you €5. It was time to descend down to Copenhagen, where I almost had 3 hours before my next flight to Amsterdam. Once headed out of the cabin, it was time to test out the lounge in Copenhagen. I have Lounge Key by MasterCard, so I decided to go to the Aspire Lounge. With Lounge Key, you also have access to the Carlsberg Aviator Lounge and the Eventyr Lounge if you are traveling from the non-Schengen area. Since I was in the Schengen area, I decided to go for the Aspire Lounge. After entering the Aspire Lounge, I instantly regretted not going to the Carlsberg Lounge. The lounge itself is nice with a lot of areas to sit, both private and in open space. It cost $27 to enter this lounge, and yeah, based on the serving, I would rather use the money in the terminal area. Copenhagen has a lot of nice restaurants and cafes around the terminal, but since we already paid for being in here, we didn't go out to spend even more money. I was here at 9 o'clock in the morning, and there was plenty of space in the lounge. When it comes to food, there was a lot of cold options such as ham, cheese and salami, and some vegetables if you're into that. All of this you can put on some dry bread if you choose to, but there was no warm food options available when I was here. If this is because of the time in the morning, I don't know, but when you pay $27 for an entry, a warm breakfast would be nice. On the alcoholic side of things, there were 2 types of wine, one red and one white. I didn't check them closely, it was 9 o'clock in the morning and I was on my way to meet my mother-in-law. Which is a really good argument to start drinking 9 in the morning. Yeah, moving on. There's a beer tap here and some selection of hard liquor, which is even more suitable for meeting my mother-in-law. And of course there's a coffee maker for the morning coffee. As the food was selected and eaten, it was time to go to the gate for the flight to Amsterdam. And no surprise, there was a 737-800 taking us to Amsterdam as well. Norwegian had previously used the 787 in their fleet for the long-haul routes, but had to restructure the company to avoid bankruptcy due to COVID. Hence the 787 and the long-haul routes had to go, together with 100-ish 737 as well. Today Norwegian consists of 50 planes, and they're all 737-800s. Their strategy is now to build up the Europe short to medium haul and get a positive cash flow. I'm not sure if they're going back with the long haul flights again, but the time will show. Flying Norwegian is an overall good experience. The planes are new and nice and the seats have enough legroom if you're an average height. It is one of the better low-cost carriers within Europe when it comes to the legroom and the possibility to recline your seat. On board you have to pay for everything, but within Europe you will also see that some of the full-service carriers charging you for food if you're flying economy. A nice thing is that they do offer free Wi-Fi if you only want to surf the web. But you have to pay to use social media like Facebook, Instagram and Snapchat. Finally, the menu options is good, with a lot of selection if you are peckish or just want a coffee. There's also a selection of duty-free items if you want to shop that during the flight. If you're flying within Europe, I would easily recommend Norwegian over the other low-cost airlines like Ryanair or EasyJet. Norwegian offers a good reward program and has 259 routes within Europe during the summer of 2022. Financially, they have so far recovered from COVID and have started to earn money again after the restructure of the company. This was my first YouTube video ever, and I hope you enjoyed it, and until next time, have a safe flight.